Hey everyone, welcome back to another YouTube video. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Jessica, and we are the Certified Occupational Therapy Assistants with Harkla. And today we are going to talk about how to know if your child needs occupational therapy. One thing that we always do when someone asks us a question, besides give them great advice, of course, is recommend in-person occupational therapy services. Now, really quick, when we say OT throughout this video, we're referring to occupational therapy services, not an occupational therapist.
So why do we always recommend in-person occupational therapy services? Because nothing beats in-person therapy. You can't get as much great information from someone online as we'd like to say you can, but honestly, as in-person therapists, you can always get to the root cause. You can see them in person. You know exactly what's going on. So we are going to help you identify if maybe going that route of seeking an occupational therapist could be beneficial for you and your child.
We have 5 signs that we're going to talk about, and if they apply to you and your child, if they resonate with you, then they might be the signs that you need, letting you know that your child could really benefit from in-person OT.
So the first one, daily routines are impossible. Now, we always recommend looking at whether or not these challenges are consistent or if they are just, maybe your child's just having an off day. But if you are noticing that daily tasks like getting dressed or taking a bath or eating are significantly challenging, that is one sign that you want to look for OT.
If your child is unable to organize their materials in their space, say their bedroom or their bathroom when they're brushing their teeth or taking a shower or a bath, if they're unable to sequence the steps of their daily routine tasks, which causes them to be unable to independently complete those tasks, even though they do it every single day, those are the signs that you want to look for.
Number 2, if transitions always consist of a meltdown. Now, transitions mean going from one activity to another or stopping a preferred activity and transitioning to maybe a non-preferred activity. So if those transitions are always ending in a meltdown, and when I say always, I mean always, because I have a toddler right now. And yes, sometimes those transitions are difficult, but it's not every day, every time we transition that he is having a fit or throwing a meltdown.
Another example is I have an 8-year-old, and every once in a while he definitely struggles with a transition, specifically if it's transitioning away from something he really loves doing, going to something maybe he doesn't love doing, right? So maybe
Don't we all though?
We all hate that, right? So maybe he's playing with his Legos and building something and it's time to go to the grocery store, right? And he's just like, darn it, I don't want to leave this. But he can transition and keep a calm demeanor. If your child can't do that and every single time they melt down, they break down, they just cannot follow that transition, that could be a sign that your child could benefit from OT.
Number 3, if your child is extremely uncoordinated, clumsy, if they fall and trip nonstop, again, after they've become a proficient walker, right? So in toddlerhood and up in school-aged kiddos, teenagers, whatever age your child is, if they're clumsy, uncoordinated, that is something that we want to look for and find the underlying reason.
Yep, so this is going to be a child who bumps into things in their environment. And this is a familiar environment, so they know the space, they know the obstacles like your living room and your kitchen. But even though it's familiar to them, they're still bumping into the furniture all the time.
If they are tripping and falling over their own feet all the time, if they are walking around in a daze, not really paying attention to where they're going, if they're just not aware of their own body in relation to the environment as well as objects in the environment, that is a sign that we want to look at an occupational therapy evaluation to see why.
And then the last one would be if they are unable to coordinate their body for climbing, running, riding a bicycle, throwing and catching a ball, all of those childhood occupations for play, sports. If they're unable to do those activities after repeated practice, they just can't quite seem to grasp that coordination and sequencing, that would be another one.
All right, let's move on to number 4. Your child struggles to self-regulate consistently. They are throwing a fit, melting down to the point where it is disrupting not only your day, but other people's days as well. And you don't want to take them out into the community because you are afraid that they are going to just completely lose it and fall apart.
Yeah, so in toddlerhood, our toddlers learn how to self-regulate. They have tantrums and meltdowns, but they learn how to come back to that calm state. And then into early childhood, they develop those skills even more. But what happens if a child can't do that is, like Rachel said, they're going to have meltdowns, tantrums all the time. They're not going to be able to regulate those emotions. They're always going to be too high of emotions.
So one thing we like to use for verbiage is big reactions and little reactions, and big problems and little problems. You've probably heard us talk about that before. So if a child is consistently having a big reaction to a seemingly little problem, that is a red flag. Now, this is consistent, okay? This isn't just a one-time thing like we've mentioned throughout this video. It is consistent. It is impacting everyone's ability to just function and be happy throughout the day.
If that sounds like you, your child, then that is a sign that they could benefit from in-person OT.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, this really encompasses everything we've already talked about. If your child is sensory seeking, or if they are sensory avoiding, or they don't know what type of sensory input their body needs to help them feel good, those are all signs that in-person OT will help them.
Mm-hmm. So sensory seeking means that they are seeking so much that it is interfering with their ability to complete daily activities. Sensory avoiding means they are avoiding so much sensory input that it's impacting their ability to get through their day, like getting dressed and tolerating different textures and going in a car ride because they're getting motion sickness. And sensory under-responsive means that they just don't know what type of input they need in order to function at their best, meaning sometimes these kids are described as bumps on a log or they are just lazy in general, which isn't true at all.
So if any of those resonate with you, sounds like your child, you're like, oh my gosh, that's my kid.
You just described my kid.
Yes. That is a sign that some in-person OT could really benefit your child, you, your family, your overall ability to get through your day successfully.
Now, we just want to say that there's nothing wrong with needing occupational therapy services. It is truly a gift to be able to have some help from a professional in the field, and just know that it's not you, the parent, failing your child at all. It is just so helpful to have another person to say, hey, I understand, I see these challenges, let me give you some tools to help you.
Yeah, the goal with occupational therapy is to learn about the child, learn what their strengths and weaknesses are, and build up their ability to have skills that help them be successful in their everyday life.
All right, that is it for our video today. If you loved it, please like and make sure you are subscribed to our channel so you don't miss any more videos. We launch a new video on Tuesdays. And what else?
Leave a comment.
Oh, yes.
Let us know if any of this resonated with you. Let us know if you're already in OT and working on these. Let us know what, good things have come from it.
Mm-hmm. If you need help finding a good OT or knowing what makes a good therapist, how do I know if it's a good fit? Put a comment down below and we will get back and help you identify if it is a good fit. We are here to help you as best we can. And I think we'll chat with you next week.